Hey, my name is Neil, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about exactly how much money you need to get started with YouTube ads. Now, before we get into the video, I want to make sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel. Obviously, we're putting out a ton of content, so I want to make sure that you guys are receiving all of it. So, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and also help us out by liking this video. It really does go a long way for us. So, thanks for that, and without any further ado, let's jump into the video. So, money and budgeting. Now, these things are very subjective and they differ from business to business. And that's because every single business is unique. So, what I'm going to be telling you and recommending here may not be applicable, but use these as general guidelines when you're going about starting with YouTube ads. Again, you can obviously go a lot cheaper than what I'm saying or a lot more expensive, but these are kind of the general guidelines, like I said. An overarching budget for YouTube. What do I recommend? Well, I recommend a bare minimum of $2,500. Now, this is the absolute minimum that I recommend. Anything lower, you're not going to be able to get the amount of testing required that's associated with YouTube ads done, right? Anything cheaper, I don't think you're going to be doing a sufficient job. And the higher end of this minimum, I would say, is about $15,000. Now, this allows for you to get enough testing, allocates enough budget for production costs and getting ads set up. And I think that's a fair number when you're first stepping into YouTube ads. That should be enough to get your first few ads tested and see some results. Now, with this first initial budget, remember, this is a testing budget. You can lose all of this $2,500 to $15,000 budget and you can see zero returns. And that's why we recommend, starting off small. You can also break even, which is actually a good thing because you're getting a lot of testing done without losing a ton of money, or you can actually even start making money even off your first ad. So just use this as a guideline and be prepared to lose all of this money if things don't go right. So what's associated in this overarching cost? Well, like I mentioned, it's going to be your production cost, your camera gear, everything that requires you to get an ad put together. It also covers the majority of the cost, which is your actual ad spend, right? And that's why we give it a minimum of $2.5K. So the reason behind such a big window between $2.5K and $15K is you can definitely go super cheap if you really wanted to, or you can add a couple extras that will ensure that you're getting the most out of your testing budget. $2.5K, you can absolutely shoot 4 to 5 ads, probably on your iPhone, and that gives you enough budget to test these 4 or 5 ads across a variety of audiences and get sufficient testing done. So the higher end of the spectrum with the $15K allows you to get higher production ads. Obviously, you can produce 2 or 3, even 4 or 5 really highly produced ads that look very great. And this also allows you to test a lot more audiences along the way. I also want to leave you guys with some tips on how to create your own testing budget, because every single business is going to be unique and your business will have a unique set of requirements that maybe some of the other businesses will not. So these are the following requirements I think you should hit in the testing phase, and then you can allocate some budget according to that. Production costs vary, but at a minimum you want to be testing out 3 unique ads, and I don't mean different hooks in that either. You want to try out 3 different ads with completely different looks and feels, different backgrounds, different speaking styles, and even different ad types. So with the 3 ads, you also want to be making sure that you're testing each ad out separately with its own unique set of targeting options. That means you will actually end up with a number of combinations with ads and targeting options. And with each combination of targeting and ad, you want at least about 1,000 impressions per campaign. So each combination deserves at least 1,000 impressions. That's what we recommend. And usually, depending on what your targeting options are and where you're showing your ads, this will cost you anywhere from $20 on the super low end to about $250 per combination. In some cases, when your business is very conversion driven, what we also recommend instead of the 1,000 impressions is that you can also let campaigns or combinations run for based on your CPA cost. So what we recommend is anywhere from 3 to 5 times what your ideal CPA cost is. What do I mean by this? So say if your ideal lead cost is say $10, then you would let campaigns run from anywhere from $30 to $50 per combination. So likewise with the 3 ad variations, I also recommend 5 different targeting options. This is going to be made up of keywords in market, intent audiences, placements, things like that. So you want to make sure you have a good mixture of 5 of those. So in total, you're going to end up with about 10 to 30 combinations that you're going to be trying out. With these 10 to 30 combinations, you want to definitely take your time and test these out thoroughly, right? With the guidelines we said. What we've seen happen is the more combinations you try out, the more different things you try out, the more ads, more targeting, the better your chance of success will be with YouTube ads. Bringing this all back to budget, what does this mean for your budget? Well, basically, the higher budget that you will have is the higher likelihood of success with YouTube ads. Unfortunately, this is the case with YouTube ads. It is a little bit of a pay to play type of model, but we have found that these are the bare minimums that you need to do in order to get the maximum chance of succeeding with YouTube ads. I hope you guys got enough out of this video. I hope you understand what's the bare minimum required. Obviously, you can spend a lot more, test a lot more, but this is what we recommend as the absolute minimum. So with this information, definitely get out there, try some ads, try some targeting options. Obviously, you guys heard me say the more chances that you take with your targeting options, your ads, the better likelihood of success with YouTube ads there is. So with that, I will see you guys in the next video.